All right, guys, I hardly ever use this food plot except for a couple of pro and con videos. This is where I tend to grow my giant pumpkins, and this soil has decreased over time, so I started adding fall blends in here to help regenerate what I can. And obviously, it's looking pretty good, but there's also trace mineral shortages just like the other areas of the farm. It's no different. One day, if I can get this middle chunk of ground back on the farm, I have big plans to really further along the entire farm for deer. So real quick, the rye looks pretty good. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it is doing pretty good, especially for this type of soil around the farm. I want to show a few things here. This is how clover has responded to a boron treatment. And this is how I discovered getting my clover plots to last more than 6 months to a year. I mean, they were literally just folding up and dying, even with, your main P&K fertilizers. But there's still some shortages in here, like manganese, magnesium. I'm finding some off-color stuff in here. But the leaf sizes are getting really close to what I've seen here before. Most of this is ladino clover, a good portion of it, probably in the neighborhood of 90%. There is purple top or red top clover. Let me get over here and show you one, which is this guy right here. For those of you that are changing out your food plots, or you have multiple food plots, I think this is actually a good clover to add to your plots. They don't browse this hardly at all in the winter, or even in the spring green up, or the early phase of the spring green up. They will destroy, like my ladino, all year round for the most part. This is when the flower heads show up and this thing starts blooming out, which I'll show you another one that has those on it. Once those heads are roughly around peak, deer absolutely annihilate that. So if you're changing over food plots, this can be a holdover until you can get everything done. And that way it keeps deer on your property, and you're still keeping them on here and providing good food. Here's another one here. I've seen better. The leaf sizes are getting there somewhat. I've had them wider than my hand, but that's getting pretty close. So you can kind of see how the clover has responded. I haven't added any potassium or nitrogen or phosphorus in here, just straight boron and a little bit of azomite. So that's taken care of. Of course, this is quite jungly, but we have a very rough or lack thereof of a good thick undergrowth. So I'm not building a lot of soil as quick as I would if the clover and the rye was working together. And to show you what the soil looks like, look at those worms. This part of my farm has been loaded with earthworms for a while. Part of that is the organic matter I added to the soil. You can see there's literally like 4 or 5 worms in this pulled up weed here that I don't need. I mean, it does have some health benefits to people, but not for me on my deer or my pumpkin patch. But beautiful colored soil. That's what I'm trying to transform this farm into. When you see that dark of a color, you have approached an excellent soil health level. So I'm working on it. it's getting there. This is probably the darkest colored soil on the farm, and I would say the main food plot is very, very close. It's at least in section 3 of showing something like that. The soil here has been tilled repeatedly, especially with the giant pumpkins, which is not good for it, but for the pumpkins it is, and it has done really well with that type of soil. Would it have grown better without it, the tilling? Absolutely. You can see a very healthy root system. See, if that was like a soybean or clover, you know, something that's high quality, and you're getting mass root production like that, you're going to be very happy with your results. So let's go up here and look at a few of them here. This is the exact same mix I use for the main food plot, so there won't be anything special or different about this area. You can see here, now that this chicory's more developed, right, we're getting some of these that are the spiky leaf. Then we have the ones that I tend to favor more, the big broadleaf. That creates more tonnage. But this is at the point when I see this stage for chicory, deer absolutely love browsing these stems down. This is still soft, very pliable, and I've watched deer come in and annihilate that stuff when it gets to this stage. So there's a lot of extra tonnage here. I mean, it kind of looks like a whole bunch of dandelions and turnips and different things kind of clumped in here the way it's growing, but it's actually just the different versions of chicory that's out there. Now here's a home run hitter. That's not the biggest one I've ever had, but see what I'm striving for with clover? That's a boron treatment with clover. And you can see holes in the leaves that I've preached about a lot, so you can pretty much guess what that is. See another new big one right there? Your clover can make a lot of extra tonnage when trace minerals are right. So if you're used to this, just ignore the holes, but size of the leaf, right? If you're used to seeing that in your clover plot versus the one I just dropped in here, which I probably shouldn't have, but see that one leaf is the total of these three. Missing out on fantastic tonnage when trace minerals is not around or not in adequate form. So let's go up here real quick. See, we have a boron issue right here. I probably missed this spot, but here's what I wanted to get to is this clover. So this is very, very close to the browsing stage. Not when it's like this, but when I see full, complete flower heads, something in the nutrient flow changes in these clover plants, and deer just absolutely go to town on them. I've seen them hit it harder than Ladino when it reaches that stage, because Ladino does have a slight downfall, which after it spends a lot of energy on this spring green up, it does tend to have a little downturn when heat is applied to it. And this clover is more heat tolerant and loves that extra humidity and temperature increase over the Ladino. That's just stuff I picked up on here, and I think this pumpkin patch will be doing great. I'm only going to till initially the center where all this tall rye is right here. That's probably averaging 5.5 feet. Your tallest point's right here. It's about 6'4", 6'5". But the rest of it is 5 or even under on this upper end. But this is a great way for me to find where potassium is needed. Another dose of heavy trace minerals is needed here. and I will continue to work on this area to improve it for deer, but I'm also going to try to beat my record for the giant pumpkin. I don't have all the rigging I need to grow a Gigantor type pumpkin, but I'll be happy with anything over 500 pounds. All right, so that's pretty much the update. This ground here it looks good to the eye of the beholder, but if you look close enough, it definitely needs some help. Now that could be a record setter. Some huge leaves right there. I mean, that's getting really close. There's another big one. So you're missing out on some fantastic tonnage your deer could be adding. So if they're taking a small bite off small plants, they're going to have to eat a lot more versus big plants, big bites. All right, guys, so this is the small, kind of tiny, forgotten food plot I don't really hardly show in here. It's only a temporary plot during the fall and winter, and then I will destroy this to create new soil and increase the health of the farm. At some point, I kind of have plans for this back here, and I may be not expanding the patch, but expanding fall blends into that. I mean, it's the only thing I do to that is bush hog it once a year, twice a year, and keep it cleaned off. So I kind of would like to improve the soil even further, because this part of the ground back here is actually really rich. Those trees over there mark the old fence corral we used to have for cattle, and they would be boxed in all the way to the barn here, and they would just poop all over the place in there. That soil is dark brown all through there and grows really good without any fertilizer, as you can see there. So that's it, guys. Really looking forward to tilling and show you my new tiller. I'm keeping that hidden for now, and I may have a new bush hog in the works as well, so I'm having to spend a lot of money I didn't want to, but I got to. So hang tight, guys. I hope you enjoy these videos. More progression of other places on the farm. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. You all have a great day.